You're wrong. I'm telling you, you're trying to do this all wrong. So you've been watching a ton of videos about these gurus telling you to go out, drive around, or cold call, or text random people about random properties and try to see if somebody's interested in selling. And they're telling you that if you find somebody that's interested in selling, to get them at a discount, figure out all these numbers and send it over to a cash buyer or post it on Facebook. Well, what if I told you that you haven't got started because you're doing it the wrong way? That's not the best way to get started wholesaling real estate, and it's not the best way to build a real estate business. If you don't know who I am, I'm Byron Scott. I'm your real estate investor next door. I was working my 9 to 5 as a teacher and was able to start wholesaling real estate, quit my 9 to 5, buy me a big brand new house, buy my mama a house cash money. And now I'm living life on my own terms like I always dreamed of. And I'm here to help you do the same. I know a lot of these gurus are out here telling you to drive around, go find these ugly houses, go talk to people and get them at a discount, and then go try to find a buyer. I'm here to tell you that's not the easiest way to go about doing this business. The best way to actually do a deal and start a business is to do it the other way around. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I was able to build my 6-figure business, make over $1 million in this real estate business, doing it the other way around. It's called reverse wholesaling. So when I started trying to wholesale, I was watching a ton of these gurus, and they really helped me understand wholesaling and what I need to do, how to prospect, how to market to different sellers. However, when I was going to do that, I was putting deals under contract and I wasn't able to sell them. I had deal after deal fall through because it wasn't really deals. I couldn't identify what a deal was. I didn't know what I was really looking for. It wasn't until I actually ran into a buyer where I was able to sit down with him and figure out what type of properties he's buying, where he's buying, what he's looking for, that I was able to look at the people that I had already been talking to and say, hey, maybe this property fits what you're looking for. I was able to get him over a property. He was able to make an offer on that property, go see it, and we closed the deal. And I closed on a $6K deal because I ran into a buyer. I had already been talking to that seller for over a month and never knew it was an actual deal. That's why I'm telling you, reverse wholesaling is the way to go, because you really need to be able to understand and identify a deal. And you can do that by meeting cash buyers, meeting investors, meeting agents that work with investors so that they can help you understand what is a deal and what's not a deal. And this is going to help tremendously when you're going out looking for properties. It's going to narrow your focus so that you can know exactly what you're looking for. It's going to have you connected with somebody that you could talk to about, is this a good deal? Is this not a good deal? And that's going to make it way more likely for you to be able to identify, find that deal, put it under contract, and get to your first closing. So if you're ready to get started doing this business for real, the right way, not just the way that's flashy or the way that a bunch of these gurus are talking about, then let's jump right into it. The first thing that you're going to need to do to start reverse wholesaling is get connected to cash buyers. Where can you find cash buyers? Well, you can find cash buyers at the properties that they're rehabbing. You can find them through the agent who lists their property on Zillow. You can go on Zillow and contact the agent right there when it gives the agent phone number there. That's like my favorite way to get connected with cash buyers. You can find them at auctions at the courthouse, at your local courthouse. They have auctions of properties. You can go find them there. You can also find them on Facebook Marketplace. I would beware on Facebook because there's a lot of wholesalers posing as buyers. But go out there and get connected with these cash buyers. You need to build a network of investors in the area that you're trying to wholesale in. You need to gather their criteria of exactly what type of properties are they looking to buy, and try to create your own little buy box that fit all those different investors. You don't want to make a huge buy box. You want to narrow that buy box down found, but it needs to be something that all the different type of investors that you found would fit into. If there's an investor that don't buy anything that the main group buys, then just stick to the main group and create your buy box. The next thing you want to do once you get that buy box for your company is to begin to market, to begin to prospect and reach out to people who own properties that fit that box. A very important key when you're reaching out to these people, you're not telling them that you are the cash buyer, because that is a lie. 99% of the time, you are not going to be the person buying their properties cash. At least as a wholesaler, that's not your intentions. So don't tell people that. Let them know that you work with a network of investors that's purchasing property in the area, and I'm just reaching out to see if you might be interested in selling. Now, I'm not a sales guru. I do work with a guy named Cordero. You can go find him on IG, Cordero Martin 615, and he is a cold calling sales guru that you can go talk to, and he will help you walk through the process of how to talk to sellers. However, I have closed over 100 deals, so I know a little bit about closing. When you talk to these people, let them know that you work with a network of investors, because we're a group of investors and not just one investor. We can get you multiple offers. We can also be very flexible. And when you talk to your investors at the beginning, you want to know, hey, what information are you guys going to need to make an offer? How long does it usually take you to let me know about how much you could pay for a property? That's important, because you want to ask that seller those same questions that your investor is going to want to know about a property. Once you ask those sellers those questions and gather that information, you're going to let them know, hey, look, I'm here to gather information from you about the property and what kind of terms and price that you're looking for, so I can get that over to my network of investors. They can underwrite this deal, and then I would be able to let you know what they're able to offer you for this property. So if the seller is interested in selling their property for $100,000, you're going to tell the investors $120,000, $140,000. If they come back and say, I can do 110, you're going to go back and tell that seller, maybe we can do 90K, or we can do the 100K and move forward. Once you let that seller know what you could do, then you want to set up the inspection for the buyer to be able to go out and see the property. Because I virtually wholesale, I trust buyers to go out and visit properties. A lot of people say, don't do that. They'll go behind your back. I don't care about that. And most of the time, it never happens to me, because I build a relationship with that buyer first. I look for red flags when I'm in conversations with them. So because I really research these buyers as much as I can, I send them to the property with confidence that they understand the situation and that they're comfortable going into that property, not talking about the price or anything like that with the seller. And that's something you can let the buyer know as well, but they should know exactly how this operation works when it comes to working with wholesalers. And even if the buyer goes behind your back and blows the deal up, it's still okay, because you're going to be able to do more deals, and you understand from now on not to work with that buyer. I actually had a buyer that went behind me and stole a deal. I was like, that's cool, because I'm about to go make $1 million and they ain't going to be a part of it. So I would say, stop worrying about people going behind your back. You got to get a deal before somebody goes behind your back. And if you understand the method and you're able to get deals, more deals are going to come. There's going to be deals that's going to fall apart. There's going to be stuff that happens, but you can't be afraid of that. Fear can't drive what you're trying to build. You got to go out here and just start doing. If one deal gets snatched away from you, just go get another one. The problem isn't a deal getting taken from you. The problem is you only had one deal. Go get more deals. Go talk to more people and stop worrying about people going behind your back, and go out here and learn from mistakes, learn from what happened when bad things happen, and make sure you do things to not let that happen again. But let me keep explaining this process. So you've gotten the buyer out there to inspect the property. They went and looked at it. They came back and said, hey, I can move forward at 105. You still have to sell at 100, so it's still a deal. My goal on every deal is to make 10K every time. Maybe your deal is to make 20K every time. In that case, you would go back to the seller and say, hey, Mr. Seller, we can move forward, but we need to move forward at 170. That's called anchoring low. I anchor low because I know the seller is going to counter whatever I come back with. The seller may come back up and say, can we do 80? And then at that point, I would say, yes, we can move forward at 80. And you always want to play a little hard. So if they say 80, you want to be, I don't know. Let me see. Let me call you back. Let me check. And then quickly after that, you want to make sure you follow up and say, yes, Mr. Seller, we was able to work some things out and move forward at 80K. At that point, you want to send that seller a purchase and sales agreement. I made a video on that. You can go check that video out. And once you get that seller signed, you want to also send a purchase sales agreement to the buyer or send him in an assignment contract to the buyer. I made videos about that as well. Once you get those two contracts signed, you're going to be able to send those contracts to an attorney's office. How do you know what attorney's office to use? Well, in some states you have attorney's office, in some states you have title companies. You just need to Google, it's my state, an attorney state or a title company state. Once you figure out which state it is, go on Facebook, look at an investor group in your area or whatever area you're doing this in, and just say, hey, I'm looking to wholesale a deal. What's the best attorney's office to use? That's exactly what I did. And I had many wholesalers reaching out, giving me their best title or attorney's office to close my deal. I was able to send it into that attorney's office. They let me know everything that they needed that wasn't inside of the two documents that I sent them. It was smooth selling to closing. So what I just showed you is how to get your first deal, but that's something that's very repeatable. And building that relationship with the buyer is going to allow you to continue to find that buyer more properties. Buyers usually have businesses, so you can continue to feed their businesses, which is going to allow your business to keep running as well. So go out there and find good, ethical buyers. That's great people. And those great people run great businesses. And you can continue to fuel their business, which is going to also fuel your business. This is a great way for beginners to get started. I'm not saying that this is the only way to go. I'm not saying that the guru method doesn't actually work. I think that this method is the quickest way to actually take action, to actually get a deal, and it's a foundation that you could build a real solid business on that's ethical, where you don't have to lie about that you're the buyer. You don't have to lie about that you're sending contractors over there. You tell them the straight up truth and let them know exactly what's happening and the value that you're actually bringing, and you're going to get compensated for that value, and you can build this business up to be a 6-figure, 7-figure, 8-figure business. Whatever you really want to do with this business, you can go out there and do it. You can crush it, and you could do it the ethical and right way. So if you've been trying to do this the wrong way, I would encourage you to go read this book called If You Can't Wholesale After This, I Got Nothing For You. Well, Todd Fleming breaks this all the way down. You can also join my lives every week, and we answer any questions you got about the process. So please, I'm telling you, don't be like me going out here, getting stuff under contract and continue to let it fall through. Build this thing the right way and start reverse wholesaling. If you have any comments or questions, leave them below. Make sure you like this video. I'm always going to keep coming and dropping more content. I look forward to seeing you on the other side.